See, call Jersey Central at 732-545-9282. Toll free at 888-545-9282. Watch Jersey Central live online at WCTCAM.com or listen on your smartphone with the iHeartRadio or TuneIn apps. Connect with WCTC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube by searching 1450 WCTC. And now back to Jersey's Morning Show, Jersey Central with Burt Barrett.
7:37. It's Jersey Central on the new Talk Radio WCTC. It is Burt Barron. Good morning. Hopefully you're getting where you're going with no trouble. We'll get the traffic update from Bernie at 7:45. Weather update from Tommy Else 2 is coming up, and we'll have a contest in just a bit as well. Chance to win some tickets to see Love on Broadway. Todd Ellison, the renowned conductor of the Broadway and Concert Series, returns on Sunday, April 10th, 3 o'clock at State Theater. Your chance to win some tickets is coming up. Well, how many times have you done it, right? You've gone to an airport, a cafe, a hotel, and right away you start looking at your phone and you want to connect to the free Wi-Fi so you're not spending money on data and paying data charges, right? Well, my next guest is going to tell you why maybe that's not the best idea in the world. Let's get right to the Raritan Bay Medical Center Jersey Newsmaker hotline and say hello to one of the nation's leading communication security experts with some tips to keep us safe. We have Shaun Murphy, who's with us here today. Shaun, good morning. Welcome to WCTC Radio. How you doing?
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Good to have you here. Now, I'm going to really pay attention to what you have to say, Shaun, because I'm as guilty as everybody. But if I'm at a diner in Jersey or I'm at a restaurant, man, right away I want to jump on that free Wi-Fi. Probably not the brightest thing in the world to do, is it?
Absolutely, and it's just so convenient to be able to walk in somewhere and instantly get, quick internet, especially if your cell phone signal is very weak or you have a limited data plan. But what we're finding is these free Wi-Fi access points are very, very unsafe. A majority of them are working on technology that's almost a decade old at this point, and anybody on that Wi-Fi network can sniff your traffic or see what you're doing, see your banking details. Or even worse, they can pretend to be that same Wi-Fi, and you're connecting to some, malicious person sitting, 2 or 3 seats away from you and directly dumping data into their laptop, and you have absolutely no idea.
It could be somebody that's maybe sitting in the booth next to you that's doing that. Wow.
Absolutely, and it's totally passive too. So you're working there. You can't really tell anything's happening. There are some indications that can keep you safe, but yes, you're absolutely out of the any sort of detection range that something's going on.
Now, what I try to do, and maybe this is a good idea, maybe it isn't. Let's say, for example, I'm at Joe's Diner. I don't know if there is a Joe's Diner in Jersey, but I look and I see a Wi-Fi that says Joe's Diner. That's the one that I think of is the safe one because sometimes I'll see some of these other Wi-Fi networks with these kind of bizarre sort of names or anything. Does the name give you any hint as to whether or not it's safe to use or not?
Well, sometimes. I mean, that is a good first step to take a look at it. But the reality is, anytime that you connect to a Wi-Fi access point that does not have a password, you have no idea if it's the person sitting next to you that they've opened up an access point on their computer or some small device that they bought online for, $20, $30. That is Joe's Diner, and you think it's legitimate and you connect to it, and now all of a sudden your connection is in their hands.
So is it safer maybe just to stay? And unfortunately, if you have a limited data plan, this kind of crimps your style a little bit. You can't take, 50 selfies of yourself eating French toast. But is it better just to use your internet or your phone provider's data just to play it safe that way?
That's correct. For things like banking and email and other tasks that really involve personal information or very secure information that you wouldn't want somebody getting access to or hacking into an account, especially social media, keep those on your cell phone data plan. Anything else that you just want to do some general web browsing, do some research, that's probably fine. But even situations like that, when you're inside of a store and you want to do some comparison shopping online to see what online stores' prices are, keep in mind that when you connect to a store's Wi-Fi, they can modify the data coming back. And so even though you're going to an online store and searching for prices, they might be changing the prices that you're seeing on your phone or your laptop or your tablet.
Interesting. They call that showcasing, right? When you go to a brick and mortar store and start comparing prices on the go, it's showcasing is the term for that, right?
Absolutely.
I've heard that before. Shaun Murphy's our guest. He's one of the nation's leading communication security experts, and we're talking about beware of the free Wi-Fi. It might not always be legit. Your information on your phone could be compromised, so you want to be careful when you see that, just connect here and you're good to go. I have an Android phone, Shaun, and mine pops up. It has a little warning. It says, listen, you're about to connect to an unpassworded, unsecure network. Are you sure you want to? And I have a choice of saying yes or no. Do all phones have that little warning that pops up?
Most modern phones do. Some of the older phones don't, and especially with Android, where there's so many different variations. Samsung has a version, and Google releases their own official sort of build of Android. But each phone's going to be different. The thing is when you connect to the access point, there's so many things that you have to make sure. Number one, does the name match the place that you're trying to connect to? Like you said, the restaurant name. Number two, is there a password associated with it, or there's a new technology out there called Passpoint now, where you actually provide a key, so you don't have to type in a password. You just sort of register with that provider, and that's the modern way of connecting to Wi-Fi. If you're not doing these type of things, or the name doesn't match, or it doesn't sound right, take it upon yourself to just say, what, it's not worth it at this point, and protect yourself.
Is it a good idea, Shaun, to have my phone remember certain networks? Let's say, for example, I'm staying at a hotel in downtown New Brunswick here, and I've used the Wi-Fi in the past, and I ask my phone to remember that. This way, the next time I go, it will connect automatically. Is that a good practice to do too?
That is a smart thing to do, because modern smartphones will keep a fingerprint of that access point. And so if someone were to, like, you go to the hotel and they open up an access point that looks very similar, and you accidentally connect to that, this would prevent that fraud, that fake access point that looks almost right. But once you establish the real connection and you remember it, you're much better off.
All right, good to hit that remember then button, so I'll remember that one. All right, Shaun, $1 million question for you here. What's going back and forth now between the FBI and trying to access this iPhone that was in the possession of one of these terrorists in San Bernardino, California? From the technical aspect and also from the protecting the privacy rights aspect, what do you think should play out here? Should Apple just surrender all the data? Should the FBI force them to do it? Where do we go from here? Because this is a groundbreaking lawsuit.
It is. And if we were talking about one phone, and we could guarantee that this one phone would be the only thing that would be accessed, or the information on there, then we could do it. But what's at stake here is a special piece of software that really can unlock anyone's phone, and really compromise any phone. And as we've seen in the past couple of years, there have been a lot of government breaches. People walking out of the front door of a government facility with documents and data, and external hackers getting into these systems. That software will be disclosed on the black market. It'll be sold, and it'll be out there in the wild. And at some point, any iPhone, any sort of technology that was intended for that one device will now be applied to all these devices worldwide. And I think that's really where the complexity comes in. Is once we open that door, we open it for everybody.
It's like unringing a bell. You can't do it once it's done, right?
Exactly.
You look at some decades ago when with killer bees in the United States. Oh, don't worry, they'll never get out. Don't worry about it. Now you've got killer bees all over the Southwest United States. But a good insight there, Shaun. Do you have a website or social media that you use where you offer more tips to people?
Absolutely. You can sign up on our website at sndr.com, and that's going to be for any sort of products or news topics that we come out with. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's Private Shaun, Shaun, and I post there on pretty much anything, the Apple topic, any sort of privacy and security that I see for everyday folks such as ourselves.
Great information. Really appreciate the time this morning, Shaun, and thanks for being on WCTC today. Okay.
Thank you for having me. Good
All
morning.
right. Thank you. All right. Shaun Murphy, my guest on the Rare